Mayor Vandenbroek will go first.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's with a very heavy heart that I'm here. I'm Mayor Val Vandenbroek, and we are here on the unceded territories of the Katzie, Kwantlen, Semiahmoo, and Masquee First Nations. I'm here with a heavy heart. We had a tragedy this morning in our neighborhoods in the city of Langley, and our hearts, thoughts, and prayers go out to all those affected families and friends of those that were involved. I want to take this opportunity to thank the RCMP and EHS for responding quickly. Sorry. They did their jobs, and they did their jobs well, and we appreciate that. I'd also like to thank Langley Memorial Hospital, who treated people. And I'd like everybody to know that those that were involved or affected, there is counseling available through Langley Memorial Hospital. And I hope that those that were affected by this do get help and talk to someone about it, because it is very, very important. Everybody in our community should know that this was an isolated incident as far as we know. And we are doing everything we can to help people. And I know the RCMP is doing everything they can in this investigation. And I will let them speak more to this now. Again, I just want to say to the community, we're strong. We'll get through this. We've been through lots before. We've gone through COVID the last 2 years. I know we can't necessarily compare this to that, but we need to be kinder, and we need to work together. And I can see this community coming together to work through this. So thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being with us here today. My name is Chief Superintendent Galabayani. I'm the Assistant District Commander for the RCMP in the Lower Mainland, which is all of Metro Vancouver. This morning, Langley RCMP and the Lower Mainland Emergency Response Team responded to multiple reports of shots fired throughout the city of Langley and the township of Langley. At this time, I can confirm that 4 people were shot by what is believed to be a lone gunman. This includes a woman near 203A Avenue and Fraser Highway, who was taken to hospital in critical condition where she remains. A deceased male who was located at Creekstone Place, another deceased male who was located at the Langley City Bus Loop near Logan and Glover Road, and a male who was shot in the leg near the Langley Bypass and 200th Street. There have also been reports that shots may have been fired into a number of closed or unoccupied businesses during the incident. Police located the male suspect, the lone male suspect, who was wounded near the Langley bypass. During our interaction with the male, police fired their weapons and fatally shot the male. The police-involved shooting is now subject to an independent investigations of British Columbia and the Office of the Independent Investigations of British Columbia. The Integrated Homicide Investigative Team, or IHIT, is now investigating the deaths and injuries to the 4 victims. During the course of the incident, a police emergency alert was issued to warn people of the threat to public safety and to stay away from areas that were affected. This alert was issued this morning after it was determined that it met the required core criteria, which are reasonable belief that there is an active threat that presents a significant risk of serious harm to members of the public. Second, The threat situation is unpredictable, evolving very, very quickly, and presents a major challenge or major challenges to initial police response, capacity to protect, contain, and interdict. And third, sufficient information is available regarding the threat and the geographic area involved to provide clear direction to the public on what action to take to stay safe. This is only the second time that the public safety alert has been issued by the RCMP in British Columbia. The first being in Vanderhoof in a shooting incident in November 2021. A subsequent alert was issued to say that the immediate threat had passed, but officers are still investigating, or were still investigating, to determine if the gunman had acted alone. While the investigation is ongoing, all indications are that there was nobody else involved, and there's no further ongoing threat to public safety, and IHIT will be continuing in this investigative track. I recognize that this type of violence, as the Mayor has just stated, in our communities is both shocking and upsetting. I'd like to assure everyone that all required police resources will be available for the investigations, and that IHIT will be working to determine why this occurred. Thank you. We'll take questions after the next two speakers.
Good afternoon. I'm Inspector Steve Wade. I'm the Operations Officer here at Langley Detachment and currently the Acting Officer in charge. Following this morning's event, I spoke with Mayor Vandenbroek of Langley City and Mayor Jack Froese of the Township of Langley, and apprised them of what had happened. They both indicated how appreciative and supportive they were of the response by Langley Detachment and the Lower Mainland Integrated Emergency Response Team. To kind of echo the message I gave to our mayors this morning, our first priority is public safety. In partnering with our integrated teams, we were able to bring this event to a successful conclusion. Something like this doesn't happen in the Lower Mainland solved by itself. We don't work in a silo. We had assistance and cooperation from just about every police agency in the Lower Mainland. Surrey responded right away with assistance at the time. Burnaby, Coquitlam, the Integrated Roads Safety Unit has sent members up to assist us at the scene. As well, I've spoken to many of our municipal police department partners, including Delta Police and Abbotsford Police, and they've offered their assistance in any way, shape, or form they need. That's very much appreciated. At this stage, the investigation is ongoing, as Chief Superintendent Bayani said. Public interaction and engagement are critical to this investigation, and we, of course, are asking anybody who might have had any information about this event to come forward. Thank you.
IHIT is working in partnership with the Langley RCMP, LMD-ERT, and the Integrated Forensic Identification Section and the BC Coroner Service. We're also liaising with the IIO. The scenes are being processed and forensic examinations are underway. Identifications of the victims and suspect shooter are also underway, and we're trying to assess the linkage between the victims and the suspect. Efforts are being made to determine the scope of the shootings and confirm if the suspect was acting alone. This is an unfolding event with multiple scenes to process. We ask the public for patience, but their safety and security is paramount to us, and we ask that they keep the area clear. If anyone has any information, please call the IHIT information line, or they can email us. Are there any questions?
When were the suspects, or sorry, were the people who were shot all, we heard earlier that these were targeted shootings against people in the homeless community. Can you confirm that?
That may have come out through the emergency notification, but right now we're determining the exact nature of who these people are, and we aren't able to confirm that they are in fact homeless. We are not able to confirm that. We are still determining if they were homeless.
What indications were there allowing the force to say that homeless people were being targeted if there's new information now? What was it that led you to alert the public to that?
It was the nature of the shootings occurring throughout the township of Langley and the city of Langley being spread out. That the message was that it was transient in nature, not necessarily the people. So we're still determining that and how the people are related.
Was that first out in the state?
Our first scene,
And where did it go from there?
the first scene was in Langley Casino in that area on Fraser Highway. And it proceeded on towards Creekstone Place, the Langley bus loop, then to the Langley bypass, where we had the last victim, and where the suspect was engaged by the LMD ERT and Langley RCMP.
It might be useful if we could, David, just the timeline when this started. Do you have that, when shootings began and when these people were shot?
I can give you an approximate time. The shooting started around midnight, continued on till about 3 a.m. was the next shooting. 5 a.m. we had a shooting at the bus loop. About 5:45 at the Langley bypass.
3 a.m. at Creekstone, is that right?
That's correct.
And then midnight at the casino.
And that was 5 a.m. bus loop and then 5 a.m. Langley bypass.
Yes.
So that was within.
Around 5:45 a.m. at the bypass, where he was shortly engaged by the Lower Mainland ERT and the Langley RCMP.
Any indication, David, that there were shootings before midnight?
We're still determining that. There are a lot of information to process, so we're asking anyone with information who may have heard anything throughout the night or seen anything to please contact the Langley RCMP or IHIT.
What kind of gun or weapon was the person using?
Can't discuss those right now, as we want to leave the witnesses that may have seen anything untainted, but that information may be available later. Anyone who would have heard anything, though, shots or seen anything, anyone with a firearm, to please contact the police.
How many shots were fired approximately overall?
I don't have that exact number right now.
You just got the scene at the Langley bypass involving the white sedan and the police Tahoe truck where there's several bullets. And also, is that where the shooter was finally found dead?
We engaged the shooter in the Langley bypass area. I'm unable to describe the scene right now as it is still being processed. There's a lot of information for us to go over. I can't provide that information right now.
I think, David, just the white vehicle, the Mazda that's been covered up, was that a suspect? Is that the suspect in that vehicle? Can you tell us that?
We're still waiting to determine that. There's a lot of information at the scene right now to
We
process.
saw a bike as well, and sort of pinpoint all this stuff to you, but the bike clearly in the middle of the road. Was that the suspect using that?
We don't know that right now.
And then the SUV, sorry, last one, SUV, was that a police vehicle?
I'm not aware of the SUV. Well, maybe I can get back to you on that later.
Bullet holes through the,
Yeah, I would like that information too.
Sure. Can you reach out to me afterwards and we can see if we can clarify some of that information?
There are pictures of a series of bullet holes, about 7 of them, in the front windshield of a vehicle that appears to be a service vehicle that would relate to an officer. So did officers shoot at the suspect through the windshield of that vehicle?
That remains to be determined. There's a bunch of investigative questions I can't get into specifically right now, as part of this is being handled by the IAO.
Do you have the age or range of the victims involved and the status of it, what was critically injured? And
The
also
vic-
the suspect.
The victims and the suspect have been identified, but we're not releasing that information as of yet. We're waiting for family and next of kin notification, and we'll hopefully be able to provide that to you in an update later on.
Was the suspect known to police in any capacity?
The suspect was known to police. As to did any of that history lead to this, we're still determining that. This is an unfolding event and very early investigation right now.
Do you have any indication of motive?
It is still too early to discuss motive. We have a lot of information to cover. We're interviewing the suspect's family and associates, and hopefully through that information we'll be able to piece together what happened and what transpired to this and provide that to you at a later update. I don't have the information with me right now.
Can you speak to what was done from midnight to 5 a.m. to police when they were doing some overtime?
Our first responders were handling each case one-on-one, and as the scene unfolded and as we were able to piece it together, there's enough sufficient information to issue that emergency alert. And now we're treating them as one investigation. Now it is proceeding, and there's a lot of information to gather, and hopefully we'll give you a better update later on.
Do you have a full number of the number of officers that were involved in this incident starting at midnight?
I don't have those exact numbers now.
Ballpark, was it dozens?
I don't have that information.
So if this began at midnight, why was the alert issued at 6 a.m. and how many people did the alert go?
I don't have the details on how many people were notified of the alert, but the alert was done at the appropriate time as the information became known to us and a proper risk assessment was done. That at that time was the best time that we're able to issue the alert and tie these things together.
And that was at 6 a.m., is that right? 6 a.m.?
It's about 6 a.m.
Did you say the shooter was injured when police found him before they were shot and killed?
I don't have those specific information right now.
A press release said that he was arrested and in custody, and later we know that he died by gunfire. Can you explain the, step there?
We have a lot of information to clarify right now, and we can confirm right now that the LMD-ERT and the Langley RCP engaged with the suspect, and he was shot and pronounced dead at scene.
So what time approximately did the suspect die?
I don't have that exact information.
Did you initially find him at Lower Mall?
Those details we're still trying to cover. This is just a preliminary update. I hope we'll have more information for you later on or in the days to come.
And I apologize, David, you're saying the suspect was shooting at police, is that right?
I'm not confirming that, no. We engaged the suspect. Whether he shot at us still remains to be determined.
Can you confirm if officers fired shots from the vehicle, the black SUV, at the Langley bypass?
I can't get into those details right now. A lot of this information is being shared with the IAO, and they have part of the investigation as well.
And not all of them are homeless people or transient people. What exactly do you mean by transient? Like, what does that actually mean? I've heard of partners actually.
We're determining the exact nature of how these people are related to the suspect. We cannot say right now that they're all homeless.
Could you say some of them were transient, vulnerable people?
It is too early to say that right now. Exactly who they are, we know their identities, but as to how they're related to this and where their placement and where they are, how it led to this, we're still determining that. I don't have that information with me right now.
Was part of the reason for sending out the alert about the fact that homeless people may have been targeted because officers were particularly worried about homeless people and they wanted those people to get a buzz on their phones?
I don't have that information, but is anyone able to speak to the alert?
Yes, thank you for that question. As I mentioned, this is the second time an alert has ever been issued in British Columbia. There's strict criteria on the alert, recognizing that some vulnerable people may not have access to a phone. The alert was specific to the geographic area where we thought there would be risk, where we assessed risk and risk to public safety. So, for example, some folks outside of Langley are calling asking why did the alert come to us in Burnaby or in other jurisdictions. People do drive into work into Langley in the morning, and the investigation was still ongoing. We were not completely satisfied that public safety was, that we had that piece yet. The alert was out until we were able to determine that we had the right person in custody this morning. And at that point in time, we sent a second alert out advising everyone that now it is safer to do their business and that the scenes have all been taken care of or been responded to.
So if I understand the reason why you're able to put out more information, you're worried about homeless folks now initially, and then you can't confirm that detail now, is just because you're going back and sort of dotting the i's, crossing the t's, and making sure that those details are indeed what they went out in the morning, right?
You know, again, these situations are very fast unfolding. We have 5 different scenes right now all across Langley and Township of Langley. And at that time, at 4 o'clock in the morning, we were trying to put out as much information as we can to keep the public, all the public safe, whoever that may be. And the moment we determine that we have the scenes contained, that we have the right people in custody, we can push out an alert now saying that, okay, we've responded to this, and it is we have the person in custody, and we want to take that alert back to let the public know that it's okay to go do business now.
So you said 5 scenes altogether?
There's multiple scenes, yes.
Okay, and I was also wondering, the gym across the street from the bus loop, business there, so the gym said that they weren't, officers didn't go inside to tell them about the threat, and they only learned it about an hour and a half later and they were talking about how they heard shooting a lot earlier. Why weren't they told earlier?
So I can't speak to why they were not. Maybe our officers didn't know the gym was open at that time in the morning, but at this time we're asking those people to call us, to contact the IHIT tip line, to call IHIT, to call Langley Detachment, and share anything that they heard, saw, recorded, and share that with us as evidence.
And I was also wondering, Creekside Place shooting, did it take place inside the facility for people transitioning out of homelessness, or was it?
I'll turn this back to IHIT to comment on the investigative.
Before you go, multiple scenes, are you able to tell us how many exactly scenes
Well, we have at least 5 scenes, I can say that, yeah.
You're asking if,
The shooting happened inside the Creekside place? Did it happen in, the shooting take place inside the facility for people transitioning out of homelessness, or were all the shootings on the outside?
we're still looking to determine that. The indications right now was that it was outside, and hopefully we'll have a better update for you later on the afternoon or possibly in the days to come. There's a lot of information to process right now, and don't want to keep going over this same things, but are there any additional new questions?
With respect to the transient victims, should people, was the alert intended to warn unhoused people? And should we have been concerned for their safety during that span of treatment?
The alert was to notify as many people as we deemed were in that area at the time. Was there any additional risk? I can't get into that specifically right now, but the emergency alert was to notify as many people as we could in that geographic area as they're traveling through Langley, as the scene was unfolding, based on the information we had at the time. So now that we have additional information, we're looking to provide more concrete and more confirmed information, and hopefully we'll give that to you at a later time.
Do you
One
think
question
there
there.
might be more victims than you found anywhere else?
We're still processing all the information, and we're open to additional information. So if anyone has information, they may have seen something or heard something, come across anything, to please call IHIT. So yeah, I don't have that information. We'll have to defer that to the local arson detachment and probably get back to you later on that. We're determining the exact nature of that. These people were targeted, but the nature of how they related to the shooter, we're still looking to determine that.
Mayor Van, can we ask you a couple questions? Yeah, sure.
Okay, so just a couple, and then we'll move on after this. It's for me or for the mayor? Okay. Yeah, oh, I'll come see with you right after. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
With respect to the emergency alert, do you think it was efficient, it was handled the way it was supposed to, and it informed as many people as possible, especially as the shooter was?
Well, I think it was important that it go out to everyone. As was stated earlier, people drive through, go to work. People in Langley City aren't necessarily just from Langley City, right? So I think it is important that everybody is alerted so that they get the message. Whether or not it was effective or not, that's not my call to say. I do know that it woke me up at 6:13 or whatever it was this morning, and out of bed, and I'll tell you, it was heartbreaking to read that announcement. I almost feel like I'm still in shock over it, that this actually happened in Langley City. And having worked in my other job with the RCMP for almost 20 years in an admin capacity, I know these alerts are very important. And if we could, just save one person from getting injured or avoid the situation, I think it's better for all of us. And what happens is when stuff like this, even though it's only the second time it's been used, every time we use it, and God forbid we should have to use it again, I do know the processes are that after an incident like this happens, the RCMP do a debrief and review everything that went good, bad, and wrong and make recommendations. And that's what we do as a city as well. So I don't want to comment on this saying whether it worked or didn't work. I think as long as it alerted people and kept people safe, I think it's a good thing. Any other questions?
Thank you much, everyone.
Sorry.
Work together, and I know you're trying, you are, and you work with us to prevent all this stuff. My question is, where's the next step for the homeless? They were in the hotels for 2 years due to COVID,
Yep.
right? And that was fine, and you know what, we saw them, they looked healthy, they were amazing. And then about March, April, they get kicked out, they're on the streets. So I'm really surprised why people are shocked about what's happening here. It's been going on forever, and it was great that having them in the hotel. So it took, whatever it is, our government in that 2 years to figure out where to put our homeless. Then they get kicked out, they're on the streets, and they wonder why. We have them everywhere. So, and like as I say, I know you work with us in Napa. What about council? What about, I always say it's like teamwork makes dreams work. And I love, one thing is about all the RCMP members, and they're not here, but all of you guys do an amazing job with our community. We cannot thank you enough for working with us. And I think there should be more RCMP members on the streets. That is one thing that the government needs to be funding for more RCMP members. The work they do is unbelievable. Without them, I don't know what we would do. So we say we have all these programs. What programs? Where are they?
I agree 100%. The RCMP here are absolutely fantastic, and they do everything they can on a daily basis to work with our homeless situation, our social issues that we have in the city. And, you know, we've got integrated case management teams. We've got, you know, our bylaws officers out. We've got your organization that does wonderful work, and thank you for doing that. You know, creating hot weather, cold weather shelters, those type of things. Excuse me. And I have been there with you through it all, serving food, doing whatever I can, because I believe as a mayor that it's very important that we treat everybody in our community the same. It doesn't matter whether you have a home or not, whether you're drug addicted or not, whether you have mental health issues or not. We need to do more, and we need to look at different ways of making sure that we do take care of everybody in our community. So what I would say to that is, we need to sit down and talk. We need to build something. You know, do we need portable showers? Do we need portable washrooms? You know, we need to work with other levels of government, federal and provincial. We know that our homeless situation is more so than any other province because we have good weather 24/7. So we need more federal funding to address the issues that are going on. We need more facilities built. You know, we need to see a plan from both levels of government, and a plan that includes all three levels of government and what we can do. So, you know, in my heart, this is something I care very deeply about, and I honestly, I'm just heartbroken this morning. I can't say it any other way, because I know. Some of the people involved, I know. And you can try to do whatever you can. And I know we've been in situations where people have come up and begged me for a house to stay overnight, and I have nothing. I have to say to them, I'm sorry, I don't have anywhere for you. So, you know, like I said, we'll get through this together, and maybe this is the catalyst for moving forward even more.
Sad that it takes something like this for all of us to be aware of what is going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
We always say it shouldn't take something like this to make us work together, but that's what it is.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Did you say there was other possible availability this afternoon?
Yes, some of you should be, all of you will be getting notified that there's immediate availability for there are other incidents going on right now. Be happening at E-Division headquarters in Surrey about 3:30. So see you all then.
Oh, sorry, just to confirm one thing. So the alert was sent after all of the shootings were finished?
It was sent after the last shooting. Yes.
Okay. Can you say why it wasn't sent earlier?
It was based on the information we had at time and the risk assessment that was done. The alert was sent out at that time. All right. If there's any additional questions, you can address them to me through email or you can call us. But we have the next media availability at 3:30.
3:30 where?
Green Timbers at the E Division headquarters in Surrey.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
You just may want to confirm the Surrey one in case we